Hey, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I want to tell you about a movie that is on my remake because I've been doing this series of remakes that I like, and this one's called The Thing. Now, I know a lot of y'all watched The Thing. So, anyway, I remember watching The Thing back in 19. The original Thing came out in 1951, and yeah, it came out in 1951. But I did not know of the 1951 until I found out that there was one that was made in 1951. Now, the thing came out in 1951, and then the original title was called The Thing from Another World. But it's really The Thing, okay? But it's just, it was in black and white. I remember getting that because the other one I'm going to talk about is the newer one. But anyway, I got the colorized version of it, but I'm used to watching stuff in black and white, so it don't bother me. But that one had a 87% Rotten Tomatoes. No, yeah, it had an 86% tometer. Tometers is what they called it back then. Tometers is what they called it back then. I looked it up. They didn't call it Rotten Tomatoes. It was called 86 tometers. That's exactly what it says. I looked it up. And it was an hour and 26 minutes. Yeah, that one. And I wasn't born yet. I was born like 8 years later. So this movie came out in 1951, and I was born in 1959. So I was not born, but 8 years later I was born. And then The Thing, the 1982. That is what got me started, because I was so young, out of high school, man. I graduated in 78, and oh man, I watched that movie because I was still partying. Was I still partying? Because I know I was still smoking weed, you know. Yeah, I was still partying. Yeah, I was trying to work out. I was trying to lose weight. I was playing tennis. I was working out. Ah, man, the 80s, man. Things was, but anyway. That one came out 1982, and I was 23 years old. 23 years old. And it's an hour and 49 minutes, and it had an 82% Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, it had an 82 Rotten Tomatoes. The Thing from Another World in 1951 had 86 tometers. That's exactly what it says, tometers. It didn't have Rotten in front of it. Just a little education there. Now, whoo, did I fall in love with that 1982, man. I thought that thing was just phenomenal. I watched it over and over and over. I mean, I used to, you know, come home and smoke me a little bit and eat and just sit back and watch TV, man. Back then, you know, things was different back then. But anyway, I was young. I was, 23 years old. God, still see myself watching this movie. That movie was so creepy, and they had practical effects. Practical effects is what they had. They used a lot of stuff they didn't have no CGI and, computerized stuff. They had to use stuff. Man, I think that's John Carpenter who produced this thing. I didn't even look it up. I think it's a Carpenter thing, a John Carpenter. But anyway, the 1989 thing, it was 1982 when it came out. And I was 23 years old, and I fell in love with it. So it was kind of weird because I heard that there was a, I looked at somebody had told me, or I found out that there was another movie called The Thing, but it was in black and white and it was old. So I was like, really? And I kind of like black and white movies. I like Turner Classic and stuff like that. And so anyway, I looked it up, and so I ended up buying it back then. And I was excited to bring it home. I liked the cover, and I liked the way it looked. And it's basically, it's different than the 1982. But it's still, you had a saucer that crashed in the ice, and they had to recover it, just like in the 1982 one. But this was, it was like an alien guy in the 1951. Now, in 1982, it was some type of thing that can mimic everybody, take over their body, and it would like copy the person, but it wouldn't be the person. It would actually kill the person and copy the person. So that's what made that 1982. That 1982 was just a creepy It was so creepy. I watched it so many times, which made me be intrigued about the 1951. And I have to tell you, if you can get past the technology and all that kind of stuff, which some of you most likely won't, it takes people that really has a love for, you know, new television and old television, I have to say. And you would like this 1951. So I love both these movies. But again, I will favor the 1982 because I was 23 years old and I remember watching that thing and I was like, God, this movie is so good. And I remember watching it over and over and over. And then when I heard that there was an original one out there, I went and found it and I was like, I'm going to get this one. And man, I fell in love with it too. Totally two different types of, you know, way they made it, but they were still good. And if you can get past that, you would enjoy this movie, the 1951. Some of you most likely won't. But anyway, one came out in 1951 and one came out in 1982. I wasn't born. I was born in 59. But in 1982, I was 23 years old. And that's why I just love that thing. I mean, the cast, everybody in it was, and just, man, being out there in that cold like that, and you're trying to figure out who's real and who's not. Whoo, Lord, man, that's such a good, you know, way. It was just a good way they wrote that, you know, because she was like, are you a real person? And you know, because this thing copied everybody, you know, so it looked like a regular person until it got exposed and then all hell broke loose, you know. Wow, crazy. But anyway, I prefer 1982, but I love both of these movies. And I have both of them physical copy. Or do I? No, I still got to get the thing on, yeah, I do not, yep, I got the thing on 4K. Yep, I do, I just looked at it. Ha ha! Anyway, God bless, take care, and we'll catch you next video. We'll see you.